Hello everyone. Welcome back to World Regional Geography. This is our lecture on North America, where we are covering the United States and Canada. First, we're going to go over the physical geography as we usually do. In this continent, or rather in this region, we have two large countries, the United States and Canada. Their physical geography is going to share some similarities, but the United States has more variation. For example, in Canada, we're going to find a region here in the north known as the Canadian Shield. The Canadian Shield is an area that is quite large, but it's very difficult to produce agriculture because in this region we have a lot of rock formations that have been eroded over time. So most of Canada's agriculture is going to be in its western states or western provinces. In the United States, we have the Appalachian Highlands, and the Appalachian Highlands are the oldest mountains in the United States. They have been eroded over time, and that's why they don't have such high peaks and sharp peaks as the Rocky Mountains, which we find here in the western United States. Within the Rocky Mountains region, we're also going to find the Colorado Plateau, which is where you will find the Grand Canyon. And in the Pacific coast, we find the Pacific coastlands, which includes several mountains, like the coast ranges that we have. For example, the Santa Monica Mountains would qualify as coast ranges, the Santa Cruz Mountains in Northern California. But more importantly, we have the Sierra Nevada Mountains, which are here an important source of water in California, as well as the Cascade Range in Oregon and Washington State. There are, of course, important bodies of water that flank the region. The Gulf Atlantic Coastal Plain here in the south of the country. Right, this is a very flat area, which is why we see flooding often right off the Atlantic Ocean. We also have the Great Lakes Basin, which is the source of the largest sources of fresh water here in the United States and Canada. And in the center of the United States, in the central west regions, we're going to find the Great Plains. And this is, together with the interior lowlands of the U.S., this is the most agricultural productive region. Another important valley is the Central Valley of California, which is also very important for agriculture. Oh, and of course, I apologize, I forgot to mention, two very important rivers are the Mississippi River that goes through the eastern central United States. Of course, very important because it's a source of fresh water, but also of navigation. Many boats could come up the Mississippi River for trade. And in the west, we have the Colorado River, which is an important source of water for us here in California. In terms of climate types, again, the United States has more variation than Canada. In Canada, we're going to find mostly continental and polar climates, whereas in the United States, we're going to find tropical climates in areas like Miami or the Florida Keys, these areas that are near on the Caribbean Ocean. We are also going to find dry and arid climates in the western United States, especially the deserts of Arizona, parts of California as well, where we have deserts. And then we find temperate climates. For example, we have Mediterranean climates here in California, but we also have humid subtropical climates in eastern Texas, New Orleans, Florida, Georgia. And we also have, of course, the large sections of continental climates, which is where we see hot, humid summers, but cold, wet winters. Another important feature of physical geography that we're going to find in different parts of the world, not just here, is what is known as the rain shadow effect or the orographic effect. The rain shadow effect, basically, as the name implies, there is an area of the mountains that is not going to receive water, and that's where we get a rain shadow. Westerly winds are going to bring moisture from the ocean into the land. And this land is this air mass, which has precipitation, right? These clouds they are going to move up against the mountain ranges like the Sierra Nevada mountains, for example, or even here in Pasadena, we have the St. Gabriel Mountains. And for every 1,000 feet in elevation, the temperature drops 3.5 degrees Fahrenheit. And so any elevation of over 6,000 feet, by that point, we begin to see snow at the top of mountains. And so we have this graphic to explain the windward side of the mountain is going to be wet. We're going to see precipitation, snow, fog that is going to stay on this side of the mountain. And then on the other side, we're going to see descending dry air. And this is the leeward side, or the rain shadow side of the mountain, where we don't have vegetation. Here in the region in Southern California, we see that we have the mountain ranges, for example, in the St. Gabriel Mountains, but on the other side, we have the Mojave Desert, for example, on the other side of the San Bernardino Mountains, right? We have, for example, Lancaster and these other dry areas on the other side of the mountains here in Los Angeles. Okay, so that is the rain shadow effect, and we're going to see it in areas wherever the ocean is bringing moisture. We're going to see it in North Africa. We're going to see it also in South America. Moving on, just briefly to talk about tectonic plates. The North American plate is the largest tectonic plate of the region, which encompasses Mexico, Canada, and the United States. For us here in California, we have a lot of tectonic activity because we have two tectonic plates. The North American plate, which is moving in a southeast motion, and the Pacific plate, which is moving in a relative motion of a north going northwest. Okay, and so we are right off the fault, the San Andreas Fault, which is what connects these two large plates, the Pacific plate and the North American plate. And so we actually had a bit of tectonic activity a few days ago. And in Mexico, there was also an earthquake a few days ago, and that is because of we are in a region with active plate tectonics. Just to close, several challenges for the United States environmentally are that we are a country that is very reliant on fossil fuels, such as coal, natural gas, and oil, to run our economy and to run our transportation systems and to heat our homes. The United States, however, has a lot of capacity for solar, geothermal, wind energy, and other renewable energy. So therefore, one of the challenges for us and our generation in the next 20, 30 years is going to be to prepare and push this transition into renewable energy so that we don't contribute to global warming through the burning of fossil fuels. Okay, that's it for this section on physical geography. In the next section, I will cover history and culture.